In 2015, the 8th wonder of the world celebrated its grand opening, that being the Bass Pro Shops Pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. It is a large 300-foot... What are you looking at? It is a large 300-foot tall pyramid with a Bass Pro Shops inside of it. Now this all begs the question... why? This all starts back in 1954 with an artist named Mark C. Hartz, who had envisioned the idea of the Great American Pyramid as a way to give Memphis its own massive cultural landmark. Yeah, what if we just built a f***ing pyramid, you know? The Egypts did it like a million years ago, why can't we? I was like, well, first of all, the aliens built those. We all know that. It was the aliens that did that. And some people are like, oh, it was slaves, but it wasn't. It was aliens. It was both, actually. It was alien slaves. They had alien slaves build those. Also, second of all, if I was like an engineer in the 50s and someone came up to me and was like, hey, we gotta build a giant bronze pyramid downtown, I would have killed myself in front of him. What do you mean we're building a pyramid downtown? What the fuck are you talking about? I feel like the only reason people have debates over who or what made the pyramids is because of how impossibly difficult they are to build properly. So it's no real surprise that zero progress was actually made on the project past the original painting. Until 30 years later. That's right, boom! John Hartz, son of Mark, enters the field. He offers to revitalize his father's original concept, which is then taken up by a fabulous man named Isaac Tigret. Isaac is most known for inventing both the Hard Rock Cafe and the House of Blues, so, you know, honestly the perfect fit for something called the Great American Pyramid. Construction for the dang old thing started in 1989, and would you believe it, it did not go well. There were a lot of delays from flooding and other expected complications that come with, you know, building a big fucking pyramid. There was also a lot of back and forth about what the actual contents of the pyramid would be. Isaac wanted it to have a Hard Rock Cafe location. There were talks of having different museums and stores inside of it. King Khufu was like, hey, can I be buried there? That's a joke for all you history nuts out there. But ultimately, when construction finished in 1991, the pyramid was now, of course, home to a basketball arena. What? Yeah, no fishing here, pal. Just some men and their balls. After all that, the so-called Great American Pyramid just ended up being a fucking practice space for the University of Memphis's basketball team. And even then, not for long. They ended up moving out of there because it sucked. It was mainly used for the occasional basketball tournaments and concerts, which just led to more issues because they didn't build the fucking thing with people and, more importantly, their shit in mind. So anytime someone used a toilet, it would just leak sewage into the hallways. It's kind of like the big flush during the Super Bowl, but instead of the Super Bowl, it's a poorly thought out pyramid in downtown Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland. Also, unrelated to everything, I just wanted to point out that you can't see it, but I'm wearing some fish slides. I dressed to the nines for this, all right? This means a lot to me. The building ended up being closed down in 2004 and was given the nickname the Tomb of Doom, which, as a name, is sick as hell, if you ask me. But all this misfortune really leads one to ask, what happened? I mean, it's a brilliant idea, a giant shape built downtown to be used for exclusive concerts and events. Genius. Just look at the Las Vegas Sphere. Everyone loves that thing. So what could have caused such catastrophic events? What, was there a curse put on the building or something like that? Well, back when the pyramid first opened, a few construction workers were out on the roof of the building and stumbled across a mysterious metal box welded to the structure. And inside of it, they found a crystal skull. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, what the fuck? And I agree. Apparently, fantastic Mr. Isaac Tigret had put that there as some sort of good luck charm for the building. He'd gotten the skull from Sathya Sai Baba, who was like a god, I think. There's a whole fucking thing I read about who he is and how Isaac knows him and how he just like materialized the skull and gave it to Isaac. But basically the skull has magical powers, and it being removed from its special box disrupted the cosmos somehow and unleashed a curse on the pyramid. What the hell, sure. So what now? You know, how do we go from the accursed Tomb of Doom to Disneyland for dads? Well, in 2005, Johnny Morris, the founder of Bass Pro Shops, went fishing on the Mississippi River. He set out with a couple of his fishing buddies, Bill Dance, the famous angler and TV host, and Jack Emmett, Bass Pro's first fishing manager. When they got near the Memphis Pyramid, Johnny looked up and told them that he would build a store inside of it if they caught a 30-pound catfish. Sure enough, with only about an hour left in the trip, his buddy Jack got a bite and reeled in a monster catfish in the shadow of the pyramid. Without much hesitation, Johnny said, "It's a deal. We're gonna do it." Okay. This shit is what the American dream is all about. This is divine intervention at its finest. It was God's plan to have this pyramid be a Bass Pro Shops, and you can't convince me otherwise. In 2010, the city of Memphis and Bass Pro Shops signed an agreement for a 55-year lease to convert the Tomb of Doom into the happiest fucking place on earth. The pyramid features a massive Bass Pro Shops, 13 lanes of aquatic-themed bowling, a beautiful lookout accessible through America's tallest freestanding elevator, and a fucking 104-room Big Cypress Lodge. There's a hotel inside of the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. You can stay at the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. I want to stay at the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. To end this off, I want to go back to Isaac Tigret's thoughts on the removal of the crystal skull. This was genuinely devastating to him. He truly believed that his beloved creation was desecrated and doomed for all eternity because of its removal. And while I can't find his exact thoughts on the current state of the pyramid, I would argue that he was kind of right. The Great American Pyramid, as he'd envisioned, ultimately was doomed and didn't come to fruition as he'd originally hoped. But on the other hand, it has now for sure become the cultural landmark Memphis was looking for all the way back in 1954. Albeit just in a slightly fishier form. So I think the moral of the story here is, no matter how bad things get, and no matter how poorly things may turn out for you, you can always reinvent yourself. And you are always welcome to come back as a Bass Pro Shops and fucking cum money for the rest of your life.